If you are new, my name is Kristina and I run this channel because I don't know what I'm doing. This cookbook has a recipe for how to resuscitate someone from a lightning strike, which is to put them in the shower for an hour, and if they do not revive, salt them and put them back in. Hello friends, and welcome back to Betty Crocker and Beyond, the cooking series I am doing, where I am taking you through all of the eras of cookbooks that I own, from the Victorian period, which is what we're in right now, all the way up to the modern day. I'm taking you through Betty Crocker cookbooks and beyond, because I have so many cookbooks. Today we are cooking from the Everyday Cookbook by Miss E. Neal, which was published circa 1880s. We are not going to be resuscitating anyone from a lightning strike. We are going to be making Christmas plum pudding, which doesn't have plums in it, but it does have bird food in it. So I feel like I need to put a little disclaimer here in my video that I do know how to bake, I do know how to cook, but I specifically choose recipes for this series that I maybe have never made before or that I think are going to be really interesting. If you've made Christmas plum pudding, let me know. It is not common where I live, but I know that that doesn't mean that nobody makes it anywhere. I just want to put that out there because I've been getting roasted for not doing things a certain way, and it's not because I don't know how to do it, it's just because I'm following the recipe exactly, and it's going to turn out the way it's going to turn out. Let's get into it.
I began with the very Victorian activity of ordering a few things online because I couldn't find them in stores. When I shopped for this video, it wasn't holiday season yet, and here where I live, they do not put currants out until it's holiday season. Then I realized that I had read my recipe wrong and I needed citron and not citrus peel chopped fine, so I zested a few lemons, hoping that that would be an adequate replacement for the citron in the recipe. The last preparation that I needed to do was separate 12 eggs and beat the yolks and the whites separately. I decided to use my hand crank mixer as much as possible because, of course, in the Victorian times they would not quite have had electric mixers yet, but they did have some hand crank mixers to make things like cookies, breads, etc. a little bit easier to make. So I used that. And then it's time to add our fats. Now this is where the bird food comes in. You add 1 pound of butter and 1 pound of suet chopped fine. I know that suet can be used in other countries. I don't know how common it is. Google tells me that it is used in Europe and the UK to add to cakes and things and make them a little bit fluffier. Here in the US, it is pretty much only sold as bird food, usually caked with nuts and seeds for the birds. So I couldn't find this anywhere in stores and I had to order it online. It came in a pellet form, and I'm wondering if this is really how it would have been texturally. It was a little bit dry, which was interesting to me. It was hard to mix. I added my 1 pound of sugar and then I tried my very best to use my hand crank mixer, but it was an extremely rough go, and I ended up using my electric mixer because I couldn't get the hand crank to move. You are supposed to cream the butter and sugar, and I assume the suet. It does not mention suet anywhere else in this recipe except for in the ingredients list. But anyway, you cream the butter and sugar and suet together and then beat in the yolks when they are whipped smooth and light. Next, I had to get a bigger bowl because the one that I chose was not large enough, and I added a pint of milk, which I believe is 2 cups. After thoroughly beating all of that together, I moved on to adding alternatively the beaten egg whites with the 2.5 pounds of flour, and for this I mixed with a spatula. This part seemed fairly easy to do until I got to the end of the flour and it became extremely sticky and tough to stir, and I just have to say that those Victorian cooks had so many muscles. They had to have had such strong arms because this was not an easy task, and I am fairly strong in the arms as it is. I struggled with this. My bowl was too small. This is my largest mixing bowl and it was too small, and I did not anticipate that. So mixing throughout this entire video was a bit chaotic, and as you will see, my counter gets messier and messier, and I grew more and more desperate to figure out how to mix this without making an absolute giant mess. Next, we are adding a cup of brandy, a 1/2 ounce of cloves, a 1/2 ounce of mace, and 2 grated nutmegs. Of course, here you can see I am using powders, and these were each about 2.5 ounces in the container, so I tried to just add half of them. And this is where things start to get extremely messy. The recipe calls for 2 pounds of raisins and 2 pounds of currants, dredged well in flour, and adding them to the bowl is when I realized that I was in trouble. I made the mistake of trying to mix with my hands.
Oh, I'm regretting everything.
But it's recording.
Oh no!
And then my lovely husband suggested mixing in the largest pot that we have. And somehow, we got the job done. By which I mean...
Can you mix this for me? My arms hurt so much.
I had to ask my husband to help me mix because my arms were tired. And I was making a giant mess. Wring out your pudding cloth in hot water, flour well inside, and pour in the mixture and boil for 5 hours.
These don't fit me.
It's a towel.
This mixture was not something that I could pour I'm wondering now if my consistency was perhaps just a little too sticky and I needed to add a little bit more liquid. I am not really sure, as this is not something I have ever made, but regardless, I tied it all up in an old cheesecloth / I believe maybe it was a muslin cloth, and then I boiled some water in the largest pot that I own and set it to boil for 5 hours. Because I have no context for what the consistency of this was supposed to be, I really didn't know if I was ever supposed to check it. And when I took it out, it was not pretty. But you'll see that.
What about it?
Ew. Oh, no,
It's very dry, but moist. I guess it's some
Is there
kind
a flavor?
of flavor of spice. A dry pudding.
Like dry pudding?
They just get stuck like
I mean,
peanut butter. Just gets stuck in your mouth.
I
Need a glass of
hate
eggnog to go with this.
the way this smells.
Eat up, we got lots of it. Looks like when you pull the band-aid off a wound after a couple days.
He probably wants to be great.
So gross. I have so many regrets.
There's a lot of things in there. I think I like the loaf version.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's take a break.
So I had a lot of extra. We cooked a loaf version.
Look at
Gollum.
It's got that kind of cakey texture to it. Like I could eat all day.
It's got a pound of butter and 12 eggs, so
I could eat it all day.
try the dead skin texture. If it was all like that, I would like it better. I like the outside of it. It's much more moist and like...
Yeah. Like a really moist cake.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the inside of it needs to be served with something. That's that. Does anybody want to try this?
What?
The thing that I made. You want to try this, Irene? The more that I eat it, the better that it gets. You want to try it? You want to be on the camera? Oof! Whoops, I dropped it. Let me lift you properly. Why are you so wet? Okay, I don't want to lift you properly.
Someone's watching you.
I know Pippin's watching me. What do we think?
I don't want to.
Okay, spit it out in the garbage.
Why?
What about you, Irene? What do you think?
It's good.
It's good? You like it?
Yeah.
Oh. So that was Victorian Christmas Plum Pudding. It didn't even have any plums in it. I have mixed feelings. I like the boiled version. My husband also made a baked version, as you saw, and he prefers that. I think that the baked version, like the spices are a little bit too strong. I prefer the boiled version, but I like the outside of it that's a little more moist. And I think that if the inside was also that moist, it could be really good. I think that it needs a sauce. I think that a sauce could really save it. Not that it's terrible, because it's actually not bad. I think I will be eating more of it. There's so much. There's so much. It's definitely not pretty. I don't know if I have anything else to say about it. That was an experience. And I want to eat more, but also I just want it to have some sort of like cream sauce, or this could be absolutely delicious with a vanilla ice cream on top to add a little moisture back into the center. And I don't understand how it got dry because it boiled in water for 5 hours. But anyway, that was this experience. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make a Victorian recipe. If you did, don't forget to it's been a long day. Don't forget to subscribe for more future videos of slow living, random cooking, and all of the fun vintage things. I'm hoping that we hit 40,000, and if we have, thank you for being here. If we haven't, still thank you for being here. I have to sneeze. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tolerating my chaotic outro and taste test. Oh, there goes my hair. I think that I'm gonna move on to the next era, which will be the 1900s or the 1910s. I have some Edwardian recipes to try. I have to go figure out what to do with these 3 pounds of Christmas plum pudding. And we're going to be eating this for the next few days. I feel like I'm saying a weird outro because it's the end of the day and I just want to go to bed. That is it for me. I hope, as always, that wherever you are feeling safe and loved. And until I see you again, have a beautiful day and thank you for watching. Bye!